Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Feldman, and I'm a volunteer with JIFLA as a member of the newly launched Young Professional Committee. For those of you who are new to our Spotlight series, Jewish Interest-Free Loan of Atlanta is a nonprofit organization that provides 0% interest-free loans to the Atlanta Jewish community. Our borrowers seek support for a variety of reasons that can range from student loans, credit card debt consolidation, to home repair, assistance with paying medical bills, and so much more. Today, we are going to talk about student debt and how, as a young professional, you can find financial solutions. We're joined by Rabbi Samuel Kaye of the Temple here in Atlanta, Georgia. Rabbi Kaye, thanks so much for joining us. And can you tell us a bit about yourself and your work?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Jason. As you said, my name is Rabbi Sam Kaye. I'm one of the rabbis here at the Temple. I work primarily with young professionals, but also I lead our conversion program, and I do a lot of our social justice work. And specifically, one of the field of interest that I have is with debt relief, and specifically medical debt relief.
That's great. Well, sounds like we're in the right place to talk about that. I was wondering if you could take us back to when you were a young adult as a recent rabbinical school graduate, and how that part of your life played into this topic of debt relief as a young professional.
Yeah, I'm always happy to tell this story. So when I was finishing up my rabbinical schooling, I had a strange medical thing happen in the middle of the night. They thought it was appendicitis. They thought my appendix had burst, but ultimately they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, only that I had to go to the hospital. They sent me home, and then eventually they sent me a very large medical bill that I had no means to pay off. I was already drowning in student debt. I was already just trying to keep ends meet. And slowly my debt just piled on and on and on in the last 2 years that I was studying to be a rabbi. I was hired here at the Temple in Atlanta. I started to, make a real salary for the first time in my life with, a comfortable living that, like, everyone had told me this is the goal, but I was still just drowning in debt. And I was very fortunate. I was very lucky because I could go to the synagogue and I asked them to give me a pay advance on my salary, which I literally just finished paying off 6 days ago. And now I am completely credit card debt free. I am mostly medical debt free because most of us just can't quite get away from that. And the student debt, we'll talk about that in 20 years.
Yeah, let's leave that for down the road. Well, first off, we're so glad that you're okay. And secondly, yes, it's always a surprise when you have unexpected costs that arise, such as medical bills, on top of other things like student loan debt. So congratulations on paying that off. I'm sure it feels like a big burden that you've been able to unload at this point. But I think you've brought up an important point too, which is that even as a professional, of someone who has, a very good career and is working, can still be under this umbrella of debt, and that it's not just something that younger generations of people go through, that it can last much longer post schooling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing we like to say at JIFLA is, we help people live their best life, and we really look to improve cash flows and financial situations. And I think an important thing is that confidentiality is really key for JIFLA applicants. So on our website, we actually have a direct link to an application form. And then once you fill that out, it's sent to our loan officer, who then gets in contact to discuss if a 0% interest loan is a right fit. And it sounds like JIFLA would have been a great option for you in this time of financial need.
I really wish that I had known about JIFLA. And in fact, I was kicking myself just a little bit when we had our first meeting together. And I was like, whoa, this would have been absolutely incredible for me. I just want to add to what you just said, though, Jason, is that I think one of the reasons why so many people are a little concerned or embarrassed is not just the shame of feeling like, oh, like I should have had this under control, but actually I think we're used to talking about debt, but we're not used to talking about debt solutions. You'll talk to most young professionals, they're like, oh, I've got so much debt. I've got student debt. I've got medical debt. I've got credit card debt. I've got debt. But no one's ever willing to talk about the ways that you can get out of debt. It's just a kind of expected that you'll figure it out on your own. But I mean, there are tools. There are not tricks, but there are people who are willing to help, and JIFLA is one of them.
Well, I thank you for bringing that up, and especially being willing and open to talk about your personal situation, because as you said, I think a lot of people are nervous to broach the topic and talk about it openly. So by us having these more open and honest conversations, our goal is to help people understand that dealing with debt and working to consolidate your debt, and by finding organizations like JIFLA, is only meant as a way to better your life and become hopefully debt-free more quickly than before, and find ways to be able to support yourself from a financial standpoint. So thank you for talking about it with us today.
My pleasure.
And I definitely want to give you an opportunity also, because we know that you are involved with a program called The Well,
Yes.
which sounds like a great opportunity for young professionals in Atlanta. And so I would love to learn more about that, if you could give us a synopsis of that program.
Sure. The Well is a young professionals community out of the Temple for people in their 20s to 30s, but I haven't kicked anyone out yet, if you're a little older than that. And we do live original music with a kind of a bluegrassy mountain music kind of theme. We socialize, we get together. We just had a beautiful Havdalah in a member's backyard that had private concert space. And this era of Rosh Hashanah, I'll be hosting a alternative high holiday service that is free to the community. And so if you're looking for a place to spend high holidays and you don't have a ticket and you want to have a high holiday experience with other people in their 20s and 30s, just write me up at skaye@the-temple.org, or find us at our Facebook page is the easiest way, The Well Young Professionals on Facebook.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to try and be there, because as a young professional, that sounds right up my alley. But Rabbi Kaye, thanks so much again for joining us today and sharing your story and how JIFLA can help all Jewish people in Metro Atlanta. And also, thank you for being a leader in our community. For those of you who are unaware, Rabbi Kaye is currently an advisor for the JIFLA Young Professional Committee. So thank you for all that you do out in the Jewish community and for JIFLA as well. And for more information on how to apply for a JIFLA loan, please visit www.jifla.org. Thanks so much again, Rabbi Kaye.
Thank you, Jason.